Hello and welcome. This is Hena Talati and you are watching It's Tomorrow News. The death toll from the destructive storm that swept across the Ontario over the weekend rose to 11 on Thursday, with police reporting another fatality. The Central Hastings detachment of the Ontario Police said a 58-year-old man was struck by the falling tree in a remote area of the Municipality of Marmora Lake. 9 of the 11 people who died as a result of the storm were killed by the falling trees on Saturday, with a 10th fatality struck by a falling tree branch during the aftermath the next day. A woman died in Quebec when her boat capsized. Environment Canada has said Saturday's severe weather involved a derecho, a rare widespread windstorm associated with a line of thunderstorms that developed near the Sarnia, Ontario, and moved northeastward across the province into the Quebec. The storm toppled trees, downed power lines, and caused extensive property damage in some areas. Tens of the thousands of Ontario residents were still without power Thursday as restoration efforts continue. Hydro once said Thursday that about 68,800 customers were still in the dark, with those in the Bancroft, Perth, and Tweed regions expected to be without power for several days. Residents in the area were asked to avoid unnecessary travel to make it easier for the emergency services to respond to calls for the assistance with the downed trees and power lines. The communities of the Uxbridge, northeast of Toronto, as well as the township of the Greater Madawaska and Clarence Rockland also declared states of emergency. A Canadian tornado expert studied the forecast on Saturday morning and never expected a line of storms headed for the Windsor, Ontario would soon strengthen into the Canada's first derecho in the decades, wreaking havoc across the southern Ontario and Quebec. A derecho is a long-lived, fast-moving thunderstorm that causes widespread wind damage. This particular storm system was fed by a heat dome over the eastern United States. According to the officials, the system formed south of the Chicago on Saturday morning, then crossed the border into the Windsor area, where it started to cause the damage. Unlike the rotating winds in the hurricane or the tornado, a derecho's winds are straight. That doesn't mean it's any less damaging. Its winds can topple trees and lift up the roofs. Another feature of the derecho is that, unlike the slow building of a supercell thunderstorm, the business end of the derecho is at the front. That's why when you witness a derecho, it often looks like an ominous wall of wind and rain. Making that destructive wall of wind even worse is that it can sometimes produce tornadoes as well. The last string of the significant derechos that hit Canada were in 1990s, including one in 1999. According to the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, that storm cut a path through the Thunder Bay and sparsely populated areas of northern Ontario before crossing the Quebec, when it killed one person, toppled trees, damaged buildings, and overturned boats in the Montreal area. Pinning down the whether or not a rare event could be linked with the climate change is difficult. Because derechos are so infrequent in Canada, it's impossible to say whether they are increasing or not. But the ingredients necessary to form the derecho may come together more often as a result of the effects of the climate change. A derecho happens when there is a lot of heat and moisture available, and they are often tied to heat domes. Climate projections point to a warmer atmosphere that will creep northward, which means this is the kind of the storm Canadians can expect to see more of it in future. That's all for now. For more news updates, stay tuned with us. It's Tomorrow News. For more global weather updates like this, subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon for regular updates.